Meeting room, come to order. If you got a cell phone on, turn it on silent or hit it with a hammer, whichever comes first. I'll do an invocation real quick. If you will, pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. Just watch over everyone, be with everyone in the Christmas parade as well. Keep them safe, get them home safe. Just allow us to make decisions that would please you, Father, and just be with all that are afflicted. Lift them up. In your Son Jesus' name, pray. Amen. We will do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. First up, we've got a consideration of an ordinance to amend the 2023 Garland County Budget Ordinance 02257 to anticipate revenues, appropriate, and transfer funds in various budgets and for other purposes. I think that we'll try to put as many of these together as we possibly can. Hopefully, everyone has read through these beforehand. I'll start with A part. The county judge received an amendment to the Mid-America HVAC project grant, $46,302.48. And the treasurer's fund would like to appropriate these funds from the Mid-America HVAC project grant to the grant in-aid budget. If we look at Part B, the prosecuting attorney requests appropriation of $12,400 for the Victims of Crime Act Fund to the prosecuting attorney's budget to pay for salaries and benefits for the remainder of the year. And we got letter C, prosecuting attorney request an appropriation of $25,000 from the county general fund to the transfers out budget to be transferred to the Victims of Crime Act Fund until reimbursements are received. So at this point, we want to keep going, or we want to break any of those out? Everybody good with those so far?
Mr. Chairman, I can kind of go down through there and talk about each one of them as we go.
Let's do that. That'd be great. That'll save us some time on that.
Okay, so item A under number 2, that's a grant that we applied for. I guess we applied for it actually 2 years ago. The specialized HVAC units at Mid-America Science Museum were falling apart just because they're too old. And so we actually applied for a grant and received the grant through West Central Arkansas Planning and Development, and it's paid out incrementally as the work is completed. The engineering, they've got an engineer on the job, and they go out there and make sure the work's completed. They provide that information back to West Central. They sign off on it. They give us an invoice, and we pay it out of the funds that are deposited from that. The second one and the third one are both VOCA grant items, and this is that odd grant that runs from October till September. It's got a really odd time frame on it, so we don't get the money in time to pay all of it. So we pay it, and then it's reimbursed once the money comes in. It's got a really odd time frame on when we actually get it, and of course, the wavering federal government along the way has not helped with that process either. Item D, for 4 years now, we've been placing $475,000 a year into the General Reserve Fund with the idea of moving into self-insured or reassured health insurance, and that's what this is. There'll be another $475,000 go in there this year. We've been funding our IRA out of it as well, which is our reimbursement for our deductible for our employees. We are moving to self-insured insurance this year. It's reassured. We have a cap of 100,000 unless an individual is lazy out of there, and that lazy individual will be set at probably 150,000, but most of them, 99.99% of them are going to be $100,000 cap. And this was the only way we could keep our employees from being subjected to about a 15% increase for their spouse and family insurance. And so what that was going to do, if you're paying $1,000 a month for your family and your spouse, a 15% increase is about $150 a month, which would basically negate the cost of living increase that we give. We negotiated with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and the cheapest they would come down to was 12.9, and that was with us making some provisions and concessions. our broker making some provisions and concessions that were not long-term concessions. There were marketing strategies, basically, is the only way we were going to save any money there. So we met with two different individuals, one that was going to supply us with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and this one is going to supply us with United Healthcare, which we were actually with prior to going to Blue Cross Blue Shield. And they're going to be able to provide this for about a variance of maybe $4 to $6 for our employee to have to pay for their family and spouse per month. Same, the provider network is identical. We also get a pharmacy benefits manager with this plan, so they're going to work on the pharmaceuticals that we have. Our highest claims last year, 7 out of 10 of our highest claims were pharmacy related. So that tells us that it's not procedural, it's pharmacy that we're having the issue with. This group will have somebody that will, when you have a big pay pharmaceutical go out, they will notify the group that we're with, and they will send someone to work with the employee. And if they're spending extra money, it should save the employee money as well, and the county money. The rebates that were normally going to the health insurance company will now come to Garland County. And in our contract, it says they're going to save somewhere in the $800,000 range on the health insurance and still have the same service, still have the same providers, and UHC is a good network. We've had it before, and everybody was pleased with it. We're making 2 minor changes in it, but overall it's going to be identical. The provider network is good. We've had open enrollment for the past 2 weeks, and it has been very good. The people that came down here and helped us with the open enrollment made a big difference in the way it worked out. So that's where we're headed. It'll probably take us a couple years to get a handle on it, but each year when Blue Cross Blue Shield came up for renewal, the first thing that would hit us with was a 20 to 30% increase. And ladies and gentlemen, we're spending about $3.5 million a year right now. When you start seeing a 20% increase, that's devastating. So we had to get away from that. And I've vetted these individuals. They've been coming here every year for 4 years and trying to get us to sign up with them. And I talked to Polk County, Hot Spring County, and Craighead County. And Craighead County is real similar to Garland County, the demographic, the number of people, everything is real similar to Garland County as far as the size. And their words were exactly, we love it. We love them. And they've all said for the first couple of years, it'll take a little while to get a grasp on it, but overall, it's going to be a good end run for us. And like I said, we've been planning for it, putting a little bit back each year to set up a claims fund, and that's what that money will go to. $40,000 is overtime in the solid waste budget. Mr. Sawyer did question for him, but we're up this year about 3,000 tons on our transfer to oxide. And you can imagine a truck will carry about 20 tons. And so when you're up 3,000 tons, you got to imagine how many extra trips that took to get that 3,000 tons to bauxite. And not only that, landfill is up a lot as well. And so, Billy, our landfill has taken in so much trash this year that John Rogers is working on exact numbers, but we went from having a 60-year planned footprint to now less than a 40-year is what we've got left in our cycle. So everything is up there. I'm hoping that it slows down a little bit because it's running everybody crazy out there. And Billy was already crazy to begin with, but it's making it worse for him. But I promise you, that man right there does everything he can to save Garland County money, including being a jack of all trades and driving a truck half the day and half the night, whatever it takes. He's not just a director. He's a guy on everything. The county library fund, there was an over appropriation there, and as we know, the library is a separate entity. It's reported under a board, and the funding goes through them. But it was over appropriation that was not necessary. So they're unappropriating that money. 250.77 tax collector's budget, under appropriated sick leave compensation. This time of year, all the way to February, we're going to call cleanup. There are going to be several things that come up. There's going to be several items where we just missed it by 2%, missed it by 1%, but there's just no way to determine. Everybody said, well, your workers' comp is a percentage. Well, it is a percentage, but it's varying. Like the people out in the landfill do not have the same percentage as the sheriff's office does or that Rebecca's people do. So it's all over the board as to what we do. And we kind of use a round number and have an average to try to figure what's going to cost us, and we even try to add some to it, but we still usually wind up a little bit short at the end of the year, and that's what that part is for. Yeah. And then each year, about July or so, we get a reimbursement from workers' comp, which pays back the parts we didn't use for employees, slots that we didn't have filled, or where we overpaid in the department. But this is actually in her department, so it has to go in that manner. Same thing on the 911 budget, under appropriated there. And if you look, these are minor, small numbers, and it's just you can't get down to that final penny. You never know how many people you're going to have, you never know how much overtime you're going to have. So there's a lot to clean up. 8940, same thing on the retention, the sick leave there. Treasurer's $500 for Vivian worked so long without taking a day off. She had a lot of time stored up here, and so when she left her position and became an elected official, congratulations again. This is something that we have set aside money for, and we paid it out so that she can hire somebody back into that position rather quickly. We've got it posted now, and then we'll move forward from there. That's all of item 2 if you want to consider it. If you got any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. If I can't, Susan will. John is out with upper respiratory issues tonight, so he said he would be available by phone if anybody needs him, but he's pretty sick.
Move for due pass from A through J.
Got a motion on the floor from Justice Dixon, second from Justice Anderson. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'm
Yes.
not on the committee, but I do have a question. In full disclosure, I am an Arkansas Blue Cross Blue Shield employee, but I've taken that hat off today. Simply that I am an insurance professional. So my question is, I heard you say you have the reinsurance up to 100,000, which is great. Is there a stop loss on that? So if you have 10, $100,000 heart attacks in a year or a million, the difference between self-insured and fully insured is the premium that the county is paying. A fully insured plan, which the county is currently on, the insurance company bears the majority of the burden of that, except for the deductible and co-insurance that the employee may have to pay. Self-insured, if there's not a stop loss, then it can put the county in a significant financial burden because the county will be responsible to pay those claims on behalf of the employee. So is there a stop
We have a
loss,
maximum number. They promoted us with a maximum number that we will have to spend.
which is
4.5 million, I think, is the maximum worst case scenario that we'll have to spend.
We do have a stop loss policy.
Yeah. I'm sorry. No, it's all in the policy. It's all in I-1 benefits. It's all in their policy. But the maximum we will spend is $4.5 million. It's not exactly 4.5 million. It's 4.542, something of that nature. In the contract, I don't know how they did this, but it's guaranteed on the $800-something thousand savings. And it's written in the contract. John questioned when we were in a meeting.
well, that was my only concern was
Yeah, and
whether there's a stop loss because they can put a significant burden. Self-insured is great for those companies that are usually young and healthy. Historically, city, county, municipalities are more mature and maybe not as healthy. So my concern was that it could eventually, or in a short
I
term,
don't have a crystal ball, Justice Brown, that, given the vetting that I've done on other individuals that are involved in this, and they're all municipal or county offices. This is the best thing they've ever done. And given the city of Hot Springs has it, but their program makes it somewhat difficult for the spouse and family part of the program because basically they're supposed to provide for the employee, and that's our goal, is to provide for the employee. But at the same time, we have to keep it affordable for our employee to ensure their spouse and family because so many have been pushed off of Medicaid this year, about 500,000 statewide, that it's caused a lot more of our individuals to pick up our insurance, and it's a burden to them at this point. And we're trying to make sure that we stay staffed. I understand your concern, and we obviously could have everybody get sick tomorrow and have a $100,000 problem, but we have a maximum spend, and it's 4.5 to roughly. Blue Cross Blue Shield was about 5.2 million maximum spend. But it's we never really could get the individual from Blue Cross Blue Shield. It was the Levitt company that was here um, giving us the Blue Cross Blue Shield quote. We never could actually get numbers from them, solid numbers, until we got numbers from someone else, and then they just wanted to compare, and I wouldn't do that.
Understood. Question answered. Thank you.
You bet.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Ayes have it. Ordinance 2257, give it a due pass. Next, we've got consideration of the 2024 budgeted ordinance with the following changes. If we could, just kind of run through this the same way.
Yes, sir. Item A is Treasurer's Automation Fund, and it will pay for the banking cost on the employee insurance cost rather than trying to do it in her office. They'll have an individual that or a company that takes care of that for us for the employee insurance. City of Hot Springs share of the 2023 sales tax that we did. We had first looked at 100,000. It's actually going to be closer to 200,000, which is almost identical to what it was last year, and our growth has been almost identical as well. The animal control budget, we actually pay uh, the actual amount there, and the city also had some increases in salaries. I don't know if you've kept up with it or not. They've actually went to a different provider this year as far as needs assessment for their employees, and so they came a little bit, a few changes there, which made our cost go up to 456, 722. But at the end of the year, we pay actual if they don't spend. If they've got vacancies, if they don't spend that much, if there's not many adoptions or there's more adoptions, we actually pay half of it. It's actual. The only other thing we do is provide a vehicle, and it was supposed to be replaced this year, and they couldn't get one. I think it'll be replaced in the coming year. The district court budget, same thing. District court employees are city employees, and so when they redid their pay scale, it affected those, and that is causing our cost to go up. Chief deputy salary went from 82 to 88. That's what the chief deputy that was appointed to that position, Sheriff McCormick, was making when he was at chief of detention. And so as he moved over here, we basically his salary the same. The some of the things that we were not able to get this year are being rolled forward into the next year's budget. The county is refrigerator, and we got a patch truck bought that we've we've not been able to get since March of this year. And they promised us 3 times it was going to be here, and so we've just had to roll it forward. Correcting on the victims of crime, some more good stuff right there. You can see the salaries, the cost of living adjustments on there, and then the violence coordinator as well. 2 sheriff's vehicles we were not able to get this year. It's 2 of the 12 that we purchased from the company in Waco, and we're not going to be able to get them this year. They're not going to be ready. So we were having to roll that into next year. And it's just, all we're waiting on there is the outfitting of them. The vehicle's already here, but the outfitting of them is what we're waiting on. And it's just, we just can't seem to get everything in place and get it done. It's very frustrating. Health insurance matching the 4.5 million there. It's what we've moved into that line. We had, I think, 3.8 in there previously from the estimates of the Blue Cross increase. The employee insurance fund, all this money is already set aside in the reserve fund, and so we're moving it into this insurance fund now. The insurance premium for $33,422,777.20, and then at 1.3 million, and then there'll also be another $475,000 that goes in there, which we budgeted, which will be the 4th year that we've been putting money back for our claims fund. And we deleted the general reserve fund of that 475,000. Basically, we moved it over into the claims fund and deleted it out of the general reserve fund, which is where we've been storing it, waiting for this opportunity to come along. Reduced transfers on the pay for the attorney. You can see each one of those, what they were and what we're down two on them. It's a little reduction in each one there. On item 4, well, let's go ahead and do item 3 first. That's all of item 3.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I just went through every one of item 3.
That's the budget ordinance.
Yeah.
That's the changes. That are the changes to the budget ordinance, yes.
Got a motion from Justice Rainey, second from Justice Anderson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Ayes have it. Budget ordinance, give it a due pass. Number 4, we got a consideration of a transfer of $1,265.82 from the fuel oil lubricants line item to the vehicle line item in the county general fund, juvenile housing and transport budget.
Sheriff, do you know what that's for, Sheriff?
I do know what it's for. It's for a emergency lighting system for the juvenile transport van that was not billed at the beginning of the year. They corrected it. Now they've billed us for it.
And that's an item by itself.
Move approval.
Second.
Got a motion by Justice Dixon, second by Justice McGrew. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Ayes have it. Item 4 for the due pass. Number 5, consideration of a transfer of $9,780.55 from the small equipment line item to the machinery and equipment line item in the Circuit Court Division 1 Fund, Court Division 1 budget.
Second.
Got a motion by Justice Anderson and a second by Justice Hunter. Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. I have it. Give number 5 a due pass. In other business, we've got a report from Gary Troutman.
First, real quick, I want to acknowledge folks that we actually had tonight. Chairman of the partnership in 2017. I believe he was about to be our chairman. 4 more weeks. Dr. Bill Allison from National Park College will be our chairman. Chamber chair, also is here and chamber support and we just been found late talked about last one. Probably, we might find it. That I actually like to interact with you all. Next week. You all are more for the same one, yeah. This, couple months ago, actually just approved. I would consider slating down to.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, because like this month, he was here last week, he'll be here this week, and he'll be back next week. So
Three in a row. I know that's rare, but I don't want the 4 or 5 that aren't here and not hear everything, because I don't see you all for 3 weeks and hear it all. And sometimes, it's hit the confidence of phone.
I think it's a fair thing to do. We'll certainly take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Submitted. I will say this, because training, the thing about it is, one month, or like, for instance, on Tuesday, we've got to get that report presented that night. But it's a little extra. Happy to share with them.
Thank you, Gary. We have a motion.
Consider that.
Move to, accept the report.
Second.
Got a motion from Justice Anderson, second from Justice Dixon. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We've also got our position and salary adjustments.
Most of those on the salary adjustments are cleanup, landfill, those labor positions. It's because that they were not brought forward to the level they should be. And so we're trying to make sure they're all getting paid the same amount to do the same job. I believe we've got either 14 or 16 employees that as of next year, with the 6% COLA, as of next year, we've only got 14 or 16 employees that will be below $15 an hour, and they're in 1460, I think, range. So we're very close to achieving our goal.
Update on sales tax collections.
As you can see, we continue to see growth in all areas, including sales tax rebates. We got a report today. I forwarded to Susan. I haven't had a chance to break it down yet, but our turn back money from the state for a road from the half-cent sales tax and I think it's Act 416, both increased. I think we're actually, between the two of them, we're up about 500,000 better than we anticipated at the road as well.
Anyone have anything further? Anybody want to give a motion to adjourn?
We need a motion to approve those. please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Got a motion from Justice Dixon, second from Justice Rainey. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Got a motion to adjourn from Justice Rainey.
Second.
Got a second from Justice McGrew. All those in favor, get up and go home.